You build that stock portfolio, you hold on to that damn thing. You buy that real estate, you fight for that real estate. If you watch shows like Landman or watch these Taylor Sheridan shows or the other one with Kevin Costner, can't remember his name. But anyway, if you watch these shows, you'll see much of these shows. Watch these shows carefully. Most of Yellowstone, thank you, Candace. I appreciate it. I couldn't remember the name of the show. I loved it though. These shows, what are they? These shows are all about money. It's all about fighting to maintain ownership of your asset. Am I lying? It's about money and family. Bam. That's it. Money and family. Money and family, money, money, family, investment, asset, acquisition, control. Everything's like pulling out shotguns, defending your land. Like literally the whole damn show ain't nothing but a finance class. It's like, okay, we got this land. Don't you give these sons of bitches 1 square inch of the land, right? And so for in those shows, asset protection is a lot deeper than just diversification or insurance policies. Sometimes you had to go and pop a cap in somebody's ass to keep them from taking your stuff, right? So this is, and you had ancestors that had that level of resilience, and sometimes you don't win every battle, and this is why reparations is something that I'm always going to advocate for because they did come in and they would bend the laws and kill everybody and lock up the person who owns the property. This happened in my own family. In my own family, when I did my genealogy research, I had an assistant who was really into that, and she said, "Yeah, you had a great 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 uncle who owned the entire town, and they basically killed him and took everything." I said, "Really? Well, that kind of makes me mad, right?" And then you had another great great uncle who or a white man stepped on his wife's toe when she was pregnant in Alabama, and he stood up to the white man and he beat him up for stepping on his wife's toe and being disrespectful. And then they came and they lynched him and killed him and took all this stuff, right? So these things happen. These things happened, right? And so the reality is that whatever you acquire, somebody's in many cases is going to try to come take it. And while you can't always win every battle, you got to at least be prepared to fight, right? And that's what these shows kind of discuss. And I think that that's great. I think if you listen for the money, listen for the finances, you'll find that probably about at least 60% of the scenes in the show Landman or shows like Yellowstone, 60% at least of the conversations are about money, investing, and wealth protection. Okay, all right. So let me finish reading this B1 story. Let's see. Okay, so the BBS has suggested stocks that I've invested in and I made some money. I think that's good. But remember, don't get your hopes up too high, meaning that just because you bought a good stock, that doesn't mean you're going to make money in the first 6 months or even the first year, right? You made a good investment. Sometimes a good investment might look like a bad investment for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? And Warren Buffett says if you're not prepared to own a stock for 10 years, you shouldn't own it for 10 minutes. So you might have got lucky. You might have bought it on Tuesday and made money on Thursday. God bless you for that. But the biggest mistake people make a lot of times is they think that investing is a get rich quick scenario. They look at it like the casino, like I'm gonna do a quick flip. I'm gonna put in 1,000, turn it into 2,000 in a week. There are ways to get income at a faster rate, but it typically is not something that you can automatically expect from the stock market. So just be mindful of that. I'm glad you made money, but just when that happens, just know that you could have also lost or appeared to lose money. That you didn't remember. You don't lose money until you quit. You don't lose money until you sell, right? So if I own land and the value of my land drops in the first few years, I didn't lose any money because I didn't sell anything. That's the difference between a realized loss and an unrealized loss. It's like the difference between being behind in a basketball game versus losing the basketball game. If you ask any coach, which is worse, to be behind in a game or to lose a game? Well, you know what the answer is going to be. They losing the game, it means your loss is permanent. It is etched in stone. It's part of the historical record. Being behind in the game, well, that means you still got hope. So assets, part of the reason that stocks have things like stock options attached to them that you can actually sell and make money from, which I encourage you to look into because it's a great way to make cash, is because there's hope attached to the stock. That stock might have dipped a little, but there's always that chance that it's going to make a comeback. That's why somebody's always out there willing to buy. If the hope did not exist, then nobody would buy the asset.